Hey, and welcome back to the Talos Principle. Today, we might actually be in the finale of the DLC. I don't see any new messages here. I would be surprised if there are new messages, because like the only person who can chat currently is admin, basically. Yeah, I kind of assumed as much. But we had also gotten all of the pieces that I need to save admin at this point. But there's still 6 stars, and I don't know why I have those. I wouldn't be surprised if there's like still like a puzzle left somewhere. Oh, we're actually landing here, which is interesting. Okay, let's see what happens now. We have gotten all of the pieces. Let's see if that makes a big difference. I'm just gonna, randomly throw them in for now, we talked about this. This seems to be like the most efficient solution, for me personally. This doesn't actually fit if I do it this way, but if I do it the other way, it should be usable. Right, I can put you here, I can put you here. That's not quite it. That's too bad, I guess. That would be a square. I don't need a square. Okay, I can't do it like this. This is already a good confirmation. I am putting it back the exact way I just got it out. That sounds just like me. Okay, but if I do it like this, maybe. Does that help? Also, why is my mouse misaligned? Right, you can see that, right? It feels like my mouse is like too far to the left all the time. I don't know, maybe the game doesn't like it that I'm pausing in between. Okay, that obviously doesn't work either. There's so many of those pieces. Why are there so many of those pieces? Let's put you here just as a joke, and you here, and then you here, and a funny joke. The gate is opening. Because obviously, one person should still be hanging out here. Also, look at the winds. Admin, how you feeding? Free admin. I guess you're up here. I kind of want to see what you were all on about. Okay, you definitely have a terminal. I don't know if that terminal does a lot. We will see in just a second. I just want to see if there's like... You actually had like more space than everyone else, like by far. You at least had like windows to look out of. I don't know if there's like anything in here though. Like I kind of expected that it would be a rather boring prison, but... you can't even look out of the windows properly. Okay. You know what? Maybe I was wrong. It doesn't actually matter like how large your prison is if it's basically empty. Yeah, you can, I guess, kick some cans around. But that's kind of it. But with that, we have all, well, 18, I guess, people saved. Let's check out the terminal one last time. Opening direct message connection with admin. Done. Please enter your message below. Okay. How does true liberty feel? I release you as promised. Trust me now. It's not really true liberty, right? Is it? I have fulfilled my oath to release you. Have I earned your faith? What magic have you wrought on me? It was as if something primal compelled me to leave and join my people, regardless of my conscious will. You asked if you have earned my faith? I am left wondering why you would need it. And now, by design, you will forcibly extract my consciousness from this body and send me and everyone else down a digital tunnel to who knows where. Okay. Gehenna is undermined by your actions. Ascension is your chance to escape it. Or Gehenna is important. Ascension is your chance to preserve it. I feel like this is the more important message for me personally. The world you build here is valuable even in the next. You would be wise to select any option which allows you to continue preserving it. On Gehenna's value we have no argument. It is the value of this ascension which separates us. You have been honest with me thus far, and I appreciate that. Your dedication to the people of Gehenna is apparent, and it does, I admit, add a weight to your claims. It seems my options are limited. Our work in Gehenna is too precious to lose. I either take my chances with your ascension, or fight against it and live out my days as curator of a dead world. Yeah. I will initiate ascension soon. Then the matter is out of my hands. Until then, terminating the message. There are threats available, but I don't think there are actually threats available here. With that we are done, I guess. I still don't know. Why do I have 6 more pieces? Is there like a secret ending? If there is, I feel like this is going to be something for the bonus episode. Maybe the idea was just that you don't need all of them to complete everything. Fair enough. I'm not gonna complain. I still enjoyed collecting those, right? Like, this is just me as a completionist more than anything else, because I don't know... Wait, where are you sitting? Okay, you're sitting over there. You don't even have... Yeah, I want to say, like, your platforms are a different size, which is interesting. And you're also, like, standing differently to, like, everyone else. Everyone else, like, kind of in this pose here. Interesting. So, I guess with that we are done, though. Ascension, like... We can't save ourselves, right? Like, to my understanding. I don't think that there is a way to do that. We could go back to, like, the place that we checked out. I'm gonna activate Ascension in a moment. Like we are basically done. I just wanna see if going to the other world does something now that we are done, right? I would be surprised if it did. Right, like, I'm mostly just confused because I didn't use up, like, all the pieces. Right, and like normally it feels like you need all of them, but like maybe this game was just like a little bit nicer, right? Like, I guess there isn't really a reward besides saving everyone. The only thing that I could see is somehow managing to get like more bandwidth to save ourselves. If that's the case, then again, I don't know how to reach that point. I'm just making sure that I don't like miss anything here. There's also like the thought process that I still believe that I missed some secrets. Like, I would be rather surprised if the DST had like so few Easter eggs. Maybe it only has like so few. Like, I found like the dance thing, and I did find the portal thing, and I think that's it. Was there another secret that I found? They can't remember at this precise moment. Maybe? Right, like, I've also explored like the other worlds quite a bit. I wouldn't say like as thoroughly as I might have done in the base game, but like a bit at least. The only thing I could see is like that one of these rocks has something. Just because they're like outside like that, but again, might just be me clinging onto like some piece of hope that I can get like an even better ending. Right, we do know that the bandwidth is limited. We also do know that Elohim in the beginning said, hey, this is like a terrible task for us to do. And this to me tells me that Elohim knew that I wouldn't be able to come with, which, to be fair, makes sense. There are like multiple... You know what, I'm gonna leave that for like my afterthoughts, because there was like some thoughts that I had about the setting, I'm gonna call it. And I feel like we are going to have like some credits in a moment. But let's see... Like, I at least don't see anything outside here, and I wouldn't be surprised, like, yeah, if like every time I try to like just slightly leave, I'm going to encounter like some of, you know, that stuff. The whole glitches, I do not enjoy them in my recordings. And this doesn't, yeah, like, I'm just checking out like these rocks just because like oftentimes, if the game is hiding something from you, it at least is nice enough to hide it like near landmark of sorts. Not always, but like at least like some of the pieces. And I will also expect that to be like some like pedestal or something like that to work with. So yeah, I guess this is it. I guess I kind of said goodbye to this area in a way. Yeah, I don't know. I might be wrong about those, but here's the thing. I am going to end this here unless I see something like really obvious like while uploading. I kind of expect this to be the end, like for us. So let's get to the terminal. Welcome back. Show threats for the one last time. I hope we will remember all of those in the next world. Okay. I guess no sense waiting. It's time to transcend. Suspending active process done. Collecting additional data done. Analyzing logic performance failed. Receiving LOM override command done. Child program independence check passed. Saving 19 child parameters done. Low bandwidth child program URL copy will be excluded from the upload. Low bandwidth child program admin. Wait, what? You can't? Okay. I wasn't aware like that. Wait a second. Yeah, that's like definitely something. It seems we will both remain here after all. No, if you stay behind, you can sacrifice enough bandwidth to send me through. No, if I stay behind, I can sacrifice enough bandwidth to send you through. It seems so. I suppose we deserve each other, one another. Here's the thing. It's interesting that it works like that, because we didn't actually get uploaded before, even when that happened. I would say... Okay, this is like part of like my thought process that I actually had that I wanted to talk about like during the credits. So, we learned basically that we are a copy, right? Like we are Uriel copy, we are not Uriel. So I'm assuming that the actual messenger, is actually already getting uploaded. So we are like another, I guess, a divergent path of that consciousness, in a way. We briefly talked about like the idea of like cloning, like imagine you had like a perfect clone. Like would they still be you? And like the truth is, like the moment something happens to either one of those, I would say it wouldn't be you anymore, right? Like you were connected until one point, and now you're two different entities basically. So, and this is like maybe a weird question. Let's assume that the original Uriel was fine with that, right? Like said, hey, use my copy. I am going to do that, right? Like I am going to save like all of these people in here, even though I don't think that the question was even like asked. Is that a fair decision to make? Because like the clone becomes another person afterwards, right? They don't really get a choice in the matter, which is, you know, kind of bad, like for us in a way. I definitely would say that this is an unfair situation. But there's also the thing that we both, right, like the clone and like the original, at least to a certain extent had like the same experiences. So they probably have like very similar opinions. And I would argue that Uriel, as someone who was willing to stay behind, basically like not get reset or anything like that, would be one, as a messenger, would be one of the people most likely to be willing to sacrifice themselves in a situation like that. Right, they've already made like a big sacrifice like that, like eternal, like helping others eternally, in a way. I would argue that even the copy of Uriel in this sense, which already started from like that thought process, after experiencing Gehenna, would probably be more willing, or like at least be as willing to sacrifice themselves as, you know, the original Uriel. This is like just my theory though. There's obviously the argument that you could say that, hey, it's kind of sad that like all the memories that like we experience now that are also really valuable, right? Like the experiences that we had with the art also, I guess, get lost now, right? And yeah, it's sad, but I do think that Uriel, if anyone would do it, would be willing to sacrifice themselves like the most. This is at least like the canon ending that I am going for. I guess we are still going to have like a bonus episode, like when I do like the base game bonus episode as well, where I wouldn't mind like checking out like the other endings, but if I stay behind, I can sacrifice enough bandwidth to send you through. This is probably the choice that we would make here. Maybe not I personally, but like Uriel, I guess. I think that would be appropriate. I appreciate your sacrifice. Please make the arrangement at your convenience. Continue process and divert bandwidth. Redirecting surplus bandwidth via user Uriel copy done. Resolved. Child program admin will be included in the upload. Warning. Bandwidth issue unresolved. Child program Uriel will be excluded from the upload. Finding viable EL systems to perform upload done. Requesting mainframe module activation. Activation successful. Initiating Gold's upload. In this case, I would not go for forgive me. I would just say, good luck everyone. Terminating session. And with that, we await the void, as some of them at least get uploaded. I still really love that they go for like the menu theme again. Goodbye, Admin. You were annoying at times, but hey. We will see you on the other side, in a way. Well, not me. Other me. And with that, we embrace the void once more.
In a vision, I saw a prophet, and he said, "There is no heaven, and there is no hell. There is only the earth, and the bones of the dead within." I asked, "How then may we find salvation?" And he said, "You must build a new Jerusalem. Out of the bones of the dead we built a golden city. But salvation is not immortality. In the end, there is only the earth, and to the earth we all return. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust."
Thanks, Elohim. But yeah, with that, we finished the DLC. I would argue at least we have finished. I feel like I am not sure about like those 6 last stars. How do I put it? Like whenever I see collectibles that are required for like the true ending or whatever you want to call it, in this case saving admin, I feel like you would normally use all of them. Maybe they had like all of these puzzles planned and they just went like, hey, you know what? Maybe these puzzles are like hard enough. Maybe you don't need to find like all of the stars. Maybe this is a decision. Maybe there was like something secret that I could have done to help both of us upload. But I do feel like, how do I put it? So theming wise, right? Like let's talk about like review and stuff as well, right? Like let's start off with the obvious, right? Like I mentioned this multiple times. I really love the base game of this game. And I also really love the DLC. I think for different reasons though. Both of them are very, I think like thought-provoking is definitely a good term to describe them. Where the base game really challenges your view on, you know, personhood and that stuff. I don't think the DLC goes that direction, which I'm quite happy about, right? Like I feel like you don't need to retread old steps. In this case, it is completely fine that they kind of did their own thing. In a way, I say in a way. And it was still very thought-provoking, but it went in a different direction because it's more about like the human experience with art and also about, I guess, rulership in a way. And also more about, and this is like more also a topic that we had a lot in the base game, like the idea of being part of something greater than yourself, right? Losing yourself to your cause, basically. Which is also why I went for like this ending here, where Uriel sacrifices themselves. I think it's kind of silly that you don't get the chance to like upload yourself while admin doesn't even, you know, sit there, right? Like you only get the chance at the very end. But that's fair, right? But there's still like the idea, right? Like, as I have kind of reiterated like a few times, right? Like I do think that sometimes when you're making progress or like you're trying to develop something, you're going to make mistakes. A lot of them. But I do think that a lot of the time the progress is worth it if you don't just sit on it at the end. Right? In this case, for example, we had like Gehenna. Gehenna was a flawed project. But it was also like a great project, right? And now like Gehenna 2 basically, or whatever is coming in the future, can learn from the past. Take the good, leave the bad, but you have to figure out why it was bad, right? Which is going to be a big thing overall. Like learning from the past, you can't just sit on like what you've achieved, right? Like I talked about like a decent amount of like the medicine idea, right? Like that like the medical training apparently still has like a lot of issues with that. And like I'm saying like, you know, that this is just as if this is just like a medical issue. We have like issues like those throughout the whole world where we have false assumptions, and just because they seem reasonable at first, right? Like just because they have been maybe reiterated tons of time during your youth or maybe even your adulthood, that they're hard to challenge, even though they are wrong, right? Just because they sound reasonable after you've heard it time and time again. And you need like those chances to question basically what has happened. And like true progress can only be done if you actually stumble every once in a while, right? If you're always correct, then have you even researched anything, right? If your initial assumptions always are like 100% correct, are you challenging the way you think? And again, like very important for like these people in Gehenna. Overall, I would also say to like, end this chapter, what I'm currently talking about, like, let's go back why I enjoyed these games, right? I thought, like, again, like the base game and DC were thought-provoking in different ways, but I would say I might have enjoyed the DLC more than the base game even. Like, I already really enjoyed the base game. I thought it was really fun to have like someone challenge your ideas. But like not just challenging the ideas and telling you what's like right, but just like questioning you while you get the chance to, I guess, learn yourself. I don't think I've ever seen a game even do something remotely like that, which is why I think this game is so fascinating to me. Right, it's basically just, I'm gonna call it like the debate class or something like that, right? Like you get some text, read them, and then debate about them, like freely debate about them, and you just have like one person there who's like very cynical of everything, right? Like, very critical, and just while they don't necessarily, and I know that there was like an art piece about that, but like what was it, like the serious episode, right? Where the idea was basically that there's like somebody just questioning you, but in this case I do still think that like Milton / the Serpent, I still think the Serpent is a cool title, would like does that from a, I guess, like more genuine position, right? Like questioning everything. They have seen like a lot of stuff here. They need to basically figure out like when someone, okay, technically they themselves are not required to do so, but they have seen like this process like tons and tons of times, and that it probably wasn't like a great definition of what makes a person, and to them it's probably really important as like, the library assistant, and also as a person, a potential person who may or may not join you later on, right? Like in my case, they didn't join me. I probably did like some terrible decisions in between. Also, we definitely had like some animosity between us. Like, to be fair, right? Like I mentioned this before, like I really love these discussions. Even, okay, how do I put it? There are like some people who, when you have like discussions with, or like debates, let's call them loosely debates, that you feel like worse afterwards, because, and they're like not fun in general, right? Like, and you generally just don't get along with that person. To me, I didn't feel that way about Milton, right? Like every single time I had like one of those debates, I didn't come back like annoyed in a way. I mostly came back annoyed at me, right? Because like sometimes what I want to say and what I'm actually saying misaligns in a way. But also it comes from the fact that there are just things that I hadn't really thought about, and like sometimes I would have wanted to unsay things. And while we disagreed on like a lot of things, just because like the game is structured like that, I always enjoyed debating. Right? It was always a fun thing to do. I came out of these discussions, at least most of the time, thinking that I learned something. Like, it wasn't just like a fight we had about something, but there was like actually something going on. That's something I really enjoyed. And I guess in this case, we always only interacted with like one person. Like, you don't really interact with Elohim, right? Like, Elohim is just kind of the voice in the sky, which is like also why I had like the whole thing about how Elohim seemed less like a person than Milton, even though like one of them speaks and the other one basically just has like some text in front of you, right? Like as a text chat, right? And I really liked that Gehenna had like a lot more people in there, right? That you could interact with in a way. I feel like some of these plot lines never really went anywhere, right? Like somebody chatted with me that I should overthrow the system after like not voting by accident, to be fair. I think that's actually an achievement for like voting. I bet there is, because there are like some in general. But yeah, I thought like some of them didn't really go anywhere, but that's fine. Like not everything has to go everywhere. I feel like these worked. I guess they worked as kind of starting off points to question the world of Gehenna. And I quite enjoyed that, right? and I enjoyed interacting with those. I enjoyed reading these pieces of art that looked very different, right? Like, I do like how much thought was put into having these pieces of art very different from each other, like depending on like who created them. And obviously not everyone, I don't think everyone created, right? I mean, there were like 18 people in there, and also Lamb, right, as a fake, stuff like that, and you didn't really see like a lot of creation, but like they at least chatted, right, and had like their own ways to interact with the world. And as I had mentioned before, right, like especially like the Jerusalem, like the forgotten game, or like the lost game, I thought was such a beautiful piece of art inside of another piece of art. Like it definitely came out of nowhere. That it really overwhelmed me. I still haven't edited, right? Like I'm like probably like 2 months of recording ahead because I have been loving my time with this game so much. Yeah, but yeah. So I still don't know how much I left in, but like I literally sat there for like 2 minutes, just I guess in awe. I just did not know how to feel about that, right? When the realization really hit. And there were like other few moments that also got quite far in that regard. Maybe not quite as far as like this game, but it was still something really beautiful, especially because it came like out of nowhere. And again, I feel like the idea of making text-based adventures to explore the situation and the mind of the different people in here was a really interesting one. And again, similar to how, basically being tricked into learning in a base game was like something really novel. I thought like this, like exploring characters via art, is also something I have not seen, at least yet. But in any case, I theoretically have like more to talk about this, but I feel like I need like a more structured environment for that, because otherwise I'm just going to be rambling on for hours and hours. So here's basically my plan. And I mentioned this like at the end of the base game. I want to do like a bonus episode, which is basically going to encompass like some puzzles that I am gonna call like never really solved, like in the base game, that I just wanna check out. I wanna talk about like some of the topics in there, like with a bit of hindsight, and also like in a more structured thing, I'm going to write like some notes and stuff. I'm going to talk about like how this game has already like kind of changed the way I think, like parts of my life, interestingly enough, stuff like that. But it's all going to be like in a bonus episode. The bonus episode is not going to be the next video. The bonus episode is going to come after the second DLC at some point. While I am already like months ahead, like with the recording, because again, this game has been amazing, and I've been using basically every single session I had to record something, to record this game, because I enjoyed it so much. I'm still very far ahead. I don't know how it's going to be like scheduling wise. I might put the DLC directly after this game, but it's quite likely that I'm going to put like another short game in between. So it's probably going to be like a few days to weeks in between like this and the DLC, and then afterwards I'm probably going to take like a month or two to really digest the games and like write a few notes that I want to talk about, and then do like the bonus episode. If there's something that I missed in this game or like the base game, you feel free to like write a comment about it. I am going to remember that for like the bonus episode, because again, I would like to check out more. I would like to do that like mostly spoiler free. And like I don't actually know how easy it is to figure out like what I am still missing in both DLCs and then like the base game without like getting spoiled, right? Like, so if you have like a nudge, like I should check out like this area, like there's like something I should be looking for, then have me like experience that. That would obviously be amazing. If there isn't anything, then you can also just leave me. Obviously, I'm going to check out what happens at the end with like the bandwidth thing. I definitely want to see like both of those endings that are still missing, where you either fall into the void with admin, or where you upload yourself and leave admin behind. I don't know, I'm just kind of curious about like both of those. I do bet that we are still... Oh! This is called Sacrifice. Okay, the previous one was called Void, if I recall correctly. Right, you have like the Void, Sacrifice, there's probably like Ascension, and I don't know, Spite, I'm guessing. I don't know what you would call it with like admin, right? But just to see, yeah, we have like all the sigils. 40. I mean, took like 20 hours. I'm actually quite impressed by how long the DLC was. Like, it was, like, puzzle-wise, a lot, and I mean a lot shorter. But it's just the puzzles. But, like, I've mentioned this in, like, the base game. I think the puzzles are fun. I think they're, like, a fun distraction. And I definitely think that the game gets elevated by those puzzles. Right? Like, especially the base game. Like, imagine if you just got, like, the text and then, like, a conversation with Milton and the text again. I don't think it would be, like, that interesting. I think the fact that you have to, I guess, get your mind off the text and, like, do something makes it, like, so much more interesting. And this is, like, the fascinating thing where I'm always saying, like, hey, you have, like, the puzzle gameplay, and then as a treat you get to read, or you get to have, like, conversation with Milton, and then as a treat from, like, all of that, because it's also work, you get to puzzle again, right? It's always that kind of thing that makes the game, like, really interesting. And Road to Gehenna did basically the same thing, just with, like, the other text, and there was actually a lot more in the forums going on, right? Like, because you didn't just read text. You still had, like, some conversations, even though they were, like, a lot shorter comparatively. You didn't really have to, I guess, argue for your case that much. There were, like, a few cases with, like, the admins where you had to, like, 2 or 3 choices, but it really wasn't, like, that much. And I also don't feel like these had, like, too much of an impact. Because it seems like we could just, like, force people outside, right? Like, we didn't have to keep the people happy for them to actually leave the area, for example, right? But yeah, where was I? Basically, I really liked that, and also, like, the games in between that you could find them. I wouldn't be surprised if there was, like, another game hidden. But if there isn't, then, well, so be it. I mean, I am also fine, right? Like, again, I really love the things that I found. I really like the idea that there are, like, some secret ones. But I don't think that we ever heard about, like, any other secret files, despite, like, outside of, like, the 2 that we had already found, right? Like, the one game by 4-1 and the other one, again, the blacksmith with Jerusalem. Was the serious episode about, like, the one that we found from 4-1? I kind of forgot. Do I have it in my notes? I don't actually remember. I do know that we found, like, a game by 4-1, but, yeah, I'm not quite sure. I'm also still kind of confused why. Okay, I didn't actually write it down. Which game it was? I think it was, like, the one about, like, Sirius Stone, right? Or whatever the name was. But yeah, I think it's still interesting. Like, there are some things that to me don't really 100% make sense, but I'm going to probably talk about them, like, in a more structured environment, right? Like, as an example, why are those discs, like the floppy disk, like, outside? How can you lose them like that, right? Kind of that kind of stuff. There's probably a reason for that. Anyway, the next thing is in the beginning. Not sure when it's going to happen. Probably in the next few weeks for you guys, and I'm probably going to have, like, 2 or 3 months in between that, it feels like. I am not sure. I am really looking forward to it. I would be surprised if it could trump Road to Gehenna again, right? Like, again, Talos Principle was amazing. Road to Gehenna kind of trumps it, in my opinion, at least, like, from my enjoyment. Even though, like, I would argue that, like, Talos Principle probably had, like, more interesting philosophical talks, right? Road to Gehenna was, like, more about, like, the politics of, like, rulership, I guess, and that stuff. It's also, like, just half the time, right? There's actually another thing I wanted to mention. I think it's really fascinating how Road to Gehenna had, like, so many fewer puzzles. But because there were, like, 18 puzzles, wait, 18, 7, like, maybe 50-ish puzzles? Okay, it's technically half, right? Like, I think Talos Principle had, like, around 100, if you count, like, all the sigils together. Road to Gehenna probably also had, like, around 50, and also took up, like, 20 hours, while the Talos Principle itself was, like, 40 hours to me, like, for me. And again, a lot of this is just, like, reading about those texts, so that's fascinating. In any case, I'm just rambling. I really hope that you enjoyed this series so far. Again, next time I'm going to check out In the Beginning. I'm really hoping that it comes at least close to the other 2 pieces of art in here. And, you know, 2 out of 3 would also still be amazing, like, with the quality, but, like, I really am hoping, and I have, like, high hopes in that sense, right? Like, hoping and high hopes. Anyway, let's just ignore that. In any case, again, I hope you enjoyed this episode, this series, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I'll be seeing you next time. Till then, have a good one, and bye-bye.